Now, my name is Tepam Masiu, and I happen to have a tender there at Lutuli House of chairing the South African Students Congress branch here in the University of the Western Cape. And I'm glad and honored to once again to renew and serve as your program director for this inauguration. Now, this occasion reminds us that leadership here at this university is not about hierarchy. It is about humanity. It is about using influence to serve and using knowledge to uplift. And I think each and every single person gathered in this room shares the same sentiment. It is also a day of significance, as I've mentioned, and I'm very excited for this, and I hope you are too as well, Prof. Thank you very much, Mr. Makalima. Can the House come back to order, please? Thank you very much, Mr. Makalima, for your beautiful rendition of the national anthem. And I'm also going to use this opportunity to invite us all to the annual UWC Creative Arts Choir Christmas concert taking place this Saturday. Tickets are only 50 Rand. Just look out on their social media platforms as to where to get them. And about now, I am going to call upon the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Development and Support, to officially open this ceremony. Professor Matete, the floor is yours.
Tobela, good afternoon, Vice Chancellor and Rector, Prof. Balfour, honorable guests, the parents that are here, the university community, staff and students, and student leaders, a hearty welcome and warm greetings. I want to congratulate all the leaders here who will be inaugurated. Congratulations to all of you, especially for stepping forward and raising your hands to embrace the privilege to serve here at UWC. Your presence here today is a powerful declaration. Here I am. And for that, I want to extend my gratitude on behalf of the entire university. Thank you for enabling UWC to have a voted-in SRC. This is no small feat. It is no small achievement, and it is not child's play. That is why we have to embrace it and take it as seriously as it deserves. We must recognize the immense value this carries, especially for our university. What makes this moment even more special is that it reflects the very essence of democracy. Elections are not just procedural. They are the cornerstone of a democratic life. Free and fair elections uphold the will of the people and sustain democratic governance. Their integrity is critical and it is vital, and it adds to the health of any society, which is the reason why we need to protect the integrity of the elections and honor the process. The University of the Western Cape played a pivotal role in shaping South Africa's democratic constitution, and that makes UWC extra special as a university in South Africa. Through the work that took place at this university and the work of legal scholars and others, for example, at the Center for Constitutional Rights, UWC became a critical intellectual engine behind many ideas that set our democracy in motion as a country. Today, that legacy continues. UWC remains deeply committed to advancing democracy, activism, human rights through knowledge and action in centers like the Dula Oma Center, Park, the Politics and Urban Governance Research Group, and the Desmond Tutu Center for Religion and Social Justice, just to mention a few. Together, these centers and the work they do weave a powerful tapestry of hope, of knowledge, and of social justice. So to you, honorable leaders, your work is cut out for you. And of course, there is a lot that needs to be done. The task ahead is to ensure that UWC becomes a vehicle that shortens the distance between each of the 25,000 plus talented students and their dreams. Universities are sacred spaces where aspirations are nurtured and where futures are forged. It is your opportunity to help make this a reality to the many UWC students. And this is not about squandering talent. It is not about destroying dreams. It is actually the opposite, helping to achieve those dreams. As individuals, you must first be grounded yourselves. Be aware of the support systems around you. Use them, lean on them. One of the most powerful forms of support that I have identified throughout my growing and development is mentorship. I encourage each of you to identify a mentor, an academic, a professor, who can help you stay focused and balanced as you navigate your leadership journey. You cannot drop the ball. You are role models of student success, and many students will be looking up to you. Okay, soon you'll receive an invitation to formalize this mentorship after you've identified the mentor that you'd like to work with, and we are confident that this will be one of the many support systems that will take you through. Why mentoring? It is because, mentoring is a very powerful way of support. It is that special relationship between a mentor and a mentee, but it takes humility to be a mentee. And for you, I want to challenge you. Not long into your future, you're going to be asked and called to be mentors to many others. I want you to think of paying it forward in a way by allowing yourself to be mentored, even as you prepare to mentor many others who will be begging you to take them through their own journeys of growth. So please seize the opportunity. I just want to remind you that you are standing on the shoulders of giants. Yesterday, we were unveiling the Life Sciences building, and it is now, for sure you are aware, named after the former VC, Prof. Brian O'Connell. It was such a special moment, and we were reminded of the power of leadership and what leadership can achieve. And you are really standing on those shoulders. Prof. Tyrone Pretorius, in a book, From Hope to Action Through Knowledge, tells a story of how he was a student here and how he went away as his career was growing. And then he came back as DVC and VC at UWC. And he says when he came back, it was like he was seeing an institution that, like a phoenix, has regenerated. It just came out of the ashes. And it was because that he came back to was so different, but different in the best of ways. I share this sentiment deeply. I graduated my PhD here, and that was before the Life Sciences building was constructed, or before it even began. And when I returned to campus and I saw the expansion of the infrastructure, it was a feeling that I cannot explain. And each day when I drive into campus, I never stop to admire the beauty of this place. And that's why I appreciate the acknowledgement of those who keep this place as beautiful as it is, those who clean and tend to it. This is a place, a very special place. And in its physical form, it is also very symbolic. It reflects a very bold vision tireless commitment, and a forward momentum that define UWC as a university in South Africa. We are truly privileged to be part of this place and to be part of the people of this place. I just want to encourage you leaders, you cannot take this place for granted and you cannot take its people for granted. I am hopeful that you are going to make your contribution to make sure that UWC continues to grow, and not just in buildings and in those ways, but in the way that you are going to be contributing. I wonder if you are aware that UWC enjoys an international profile as far as research is concerned in areas such as genetics, biotechnology, nanoscience, and the list goes on and on, besides the human rights and other areas that I spoke about. So, this is really a special place that needs to be attended to. And your contribution is going to help this university in the most real, or in real terms, to move from where it is and to continue to take its quantum leap in terms of growing. You'll hear us speak around the university about careful stewardship and about interdependence. And these are the inspiration or inspirational ideas that we get from our current VC, as encourages us to make sure that we do our part for the university to keep growing. So pay attention. Careful stewardship in the work that you do. You always look for the partners and the networks that can help you carry your weight. So I want to encourage you that you must definitely strengthen your ties within Team UWC SRC 2025. Support one another. 2025-2026. Support one another. Lighten each other's burdens. And the mantra should be no toxicity within these ties. You have to increase your reach. Make sure that your work benefits not a few, but the many students that make up the UWC enrollment cohort. And I encourage you to do your part in making sure that your reach spreads across this university that has built this remarkable profile. I hope you are aware that UWC's profile is not only celebrated locally, but also internationally. Recently, early in the year, towards mid-year, I think, we had our own professor, Professor Priscilla Baker, who was awarded a L'Oreal UNESCO Award. And it was a very proud moment for UWC. But this speaks to what this place is all about and the growth that continues to take place. Not only that, we also celebrate our UWC's women athletes who make us to be so proud and to boast about the 4 times championship that is now associated with UWC as a brand. We are thankful to this level of talent and hard work that continues to define UWC. And I hope that you are definitely going to throw in your part to make sure that we continue to grow. Let me just say this again. You'll hear about careful stewardship. You'll hear about interdependence. Join in and enjoy the fun in the journey, but also in what you are going to be delivering. The SGC is in its 2nd year almost. There have been teething challenges, problems in implementing it, but we cannot lean on those excuses. We have to forge forward and make sure that we implement and improve accordingly for the benefit of UWC and its communities, and its community, and of course surrounding communities. Your work should benefit all and not just a few. I want to repeat. For those who are coming for the 2nd term, this is your chance to build on the experience you've already had. And for sure, the 2nd time around can only be better. I wish you well. Beyond the celebration and the opening of the scrolls, I want to make a call on you. Get to work and get to serve. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Matete Madiba, for your inspiring speech. I think each and every single time after you speak, you can tell that a parent has spoken. A parent has given a line of march, and we hope that the SRC heard and will heed to the call. Now, when you are running a program and especially when you're late, you forgot to do certain things. I just remembered now that I did not give the housekeeping rules, and I noticed quite a number of things. Can you please minimize the movements when there's a speaker on the floor? It's very disruptive. And can you please, at the door, Mr. Tango, ensure that the door is closed whenever there's a speaker in front, more especially to the part that we're going to proceed to. Thank you very much, Prof. Madiba, for your speech. I am now going to welcome the outgoing SRC Deputy Secretary General on behalf of the SRC to share the reflections on the journey of the leadership and the lessons that you carry forward. Comrade Amo.
Vice Chancellor, Prof. Balfour, DVCSGS, Prof. Madiba, the Registrar, Deputy Registrars, Executive Directors, Executive Managers of various departments, academic staff, and all staff members, as well as the cleaners and ground workers of the institution. Former SRC members preceding our term, I saw the former acting president, Comrade Skula, and former acting secretary general, Comrade Mukhola. My comrades in the outgoing SRC, student leaders from different SRC structures and different organizations, family and friends, students of the university, and the people we gather to inaugurate today, SRC elects of the 2025-2026 SRC. I extend a revolutionary greetings to all of you on this momentous and historic occasion that we gather here. As already introduced, my name is Amkean Nkwenika, and I think one can simply infer why this particular inauguration is addressed by a former Deputy Secretary General instead of a president. I mean, students were very happy with Comrade Mac. They decided you must repeat again. So, comrades, let me just... Thank you. Let me just, firstly, as our last job as the SRC today, pledge our solidarity with the students of the University of the Free State, the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and Fort Hare University, who are currently undergoing brutal anti-poor and anti-student resolutions from their university managements. Whereas the struggle for free education and anti-corruption, free quality education, and anti-corruption is not an isolated struggle. It's a struggle which is waged across all institutions. And in these trying times, we pledge our solidarity with our comrades and we stand with them as they embark in their protest actions. It, of course, brings a bittersweet feeling to stand before all of you and address as part of the 2024-2025 SRC collective. You know, when we assumed office, we committed ourselves to an unwavering and uncompromised commitment to the student agenda. And today we stand proud in affirming that our term of office was nothing short of ensuring that students are represented in every corner of the university, and meaningfully so at that, and ensuring that programs and projects we run are those that benefit the student populace. To highlight just a few, one of the projects when Comrade Mac stood here last year, he spoke about the revival of Icam Valet. If one can remember, his whole speech was centered around the Icam Valet Fund. You know, and we gather today being proud that the Icam Valet Fund was reenacted, and not only reenacted, but it has addressed issues of student debt, food insecurity, financial, as well as financial shortcomings in cost resources, among others. It might not have done its job to our full satisfaction, but we are very happy that it did the job. You know, when we entered office, student activism, student participation, and interest in campus socio-political climate was at the threat of existential degeneration. You know, with students opting to either be apolitical or view student activism as more problematic than more solution-oriented. There was a time in the life of UWC where students didn't see the purpose of the SRC, But today, students can proudly say, my SRC hosted a career guidance for me. My SRC hosted exam talks for me. My SRC hosted a badge for me. And when I went with a problem to my SRC about my faculty, Usis Ember responded to me. When I went with a problem about accommodation, Uputkanti responded to me. And that's the kind of SRC that... And that's the kind of SRC that is centered around students, and students can actually see its work. And when the SRC say it's working, students can actually point at something and say, my SRC did that for me. And we're very proud for what we did. We are very grateful to the students of UWC who kept us grounded, and when we said we're SRC members every day, we were committing to saving them. A special thanks, of course, goes to the university structures and personnel that were always there for us and helped us carry our mandate. Mrs. Lippert, I don't know where she is. She might be outside. Mrs. Lippert is our administrator, one of the most amazing humans. She was always there. Whenever wanted something to happen, she would always be there and acted for us. Advocate GK from SDS, the executive assistant to the TVC, Mr. Makopeni, the student governance acting manager, Mrs. Seal, and all their colleagues from SDS. All the faculties, departments, and offices of the university who welcomed us warmly and provided us with the necessary means when we came to do our work in their spaces. And mostly Prof. Balfour and your executive management. One must appreciate and applaud your commitment to working with the SRC. And whenever we requested an engagement or addressed an issue with you, you were easily accessible and had SRC comrades of the 2024-2025 SRC. We hand over to a new leadership, and we do so with pride and very much gratitude. No reflection on us than an indictment. Because it shows that students were very satisfied with our leadership, and they are confident with the new leadership that they've elected as well. Comrade SRC elects, we congratulate you for winning the elections in this cycle. But at the same time, one has to warn you that winning election was the first step. In fact, it was the easiest step of the job. Students have elected you with absolute confidence in your leadership and will be expecting nothing short of a leadership that is centered in students first and everything last. There's a video which was making rounds quite a few weeks ago of this youthful comrade who was saying that once SRC members are inaugurated, they are taken to a hotel, and then university policies are put in your head. So when students come to you with a problem, you tell them that police university ayivumi. What you must be doing is you must be telling police abafundi abavumi. And that's the kind of approach that student leadership must be taking. Yeah, but for the record, as the 2024-2025 SRC, we were never taken to a hotel, so there was the. But the point here, comrades, is that these are the things that you must safeguard against. You are now custodians of the students' revolution, and yours is to represent, lead, and act in the best interest of students. It's not vice versa, where you represent policies of the university to students, but it's the other way around. You are the student voice wherever you find yourselves. Comrades, the SGC took effect last year, and we were the first SRC to be elected under it, so making you the second. The SGC speaks about certain constituencies and creates substructures as well of the SRC. We want you to embrace these constituencies within the SRC and these substructures as not problematic. They are not trying to usurp your power, but they are trying to create a more coherent leadership structure where in every corner where students find themselves, they are represented. The SRC must not see all this as a threat or a watering down of their powers, but as service to all areas on campus and to ensuring that where students find themselves, they are properly represented. So you see another unprecedented thing which happens today in the SRC, despite the election of Comrade Mac for second term, it's that for the first time, I think it is the first time, the three major political organizations on campus are all represented in the SRC. Yeah, you know, since the Geo News thing started, it's been problematic everywhere. So, yeah. Comrades, I want you to take this as a call for you to collaborate and unite within the SRC. It's a call upon you SRC elects and your deploying organization that it is a time to collaborate in the service of students. You know, I always tell people that UWC is a unique university in that the three major organizations contesting power all have the same ideology. You know, they might have a different way about approaching it, but all of them fight for the same cause, which is free, quality education for everyone. You know, the methodology of how they go about might differ, but at the end of the day, their end goal is the same. This, therefore, comrades, must provoke debate amongst all of us, especially you as SRC elects, to ensure that the best interests of students are taken care of, and it is not time for you to be bickering around and fighting amongst yourselves. Comrade SRC elects, we congratulate you once more on your election. We wish you nothing but unity, strength, and a student-centered leadership in this term of office you are about to embark on. May the revolutionary spirits of Wanga Sigila, Mzala Ngumalo, Steve Biko, and all those who shaped student activism and leadership to be what it is today guide you in your journey as you lead the students of this gigantic institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can everyone please come back? SRC elects. Don't start now. Thank you very much, Mr. Nkwinika, for your dedication with your cohort and the lessons that you gave to the SRC to carry forward. About now, we are going to move to the most important part of this sitting, which is the oath-taking ceremony, which will be officiated by Prof. Robert Balfour. We are going to proceed in a moment of solemnity, honor, the oath-taking. This is more than just a formality. I want to reiterate, it's not just one of those ticking the boxes. It's a covenant that you make that you're going to serve the students of this university and ensure that you keep the legacy of this beautiful university of ours. It is my privilege, Professor Balfour, to welcome you to the front for the oath-taking.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody. It's really such a joy to be together today to solemnly inaugurate our new student leadership, and we are in solidarity with them. We wish them well. And I would like therefore to invite the SRC to stand up with me, please, and to unfold the scrolls that are in front of them. The elected new members. And then together to read with me from the start. I will commence it and then we'll follow the text together from the beginning. So the SRC, before the rector, must swear as follows. Here we go. In the presence of everyone assembled here, in the full realization of the high calling I assume as the portfolio office bearer, of the SRC of the University of the Western Cape, I swear that I will be faithful to the SRC and will obey, observe, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and all other laws of the SRC. And I solemnly and sincerely promise that I will always undertake to promote the vision and mission of the University of the Western Cape, uphold the principles of transparency, accountability, responsiveness, and participation in the student community. Respect diversity that arises due to socioeconomic build and sustain the academic project of the university. Inculcate the spirit of unity and coherence among students. Articulate the aspirations of students within the university governance structures, including the council, the senate, the institutional forum, and university committees. Build a strong, dedicated, and committed SRC leadership, so help me God. Thank you very much. I now call on the SRC to also read with me, please, together, the preamble. We the students of the University of the Western Cape, herein referred to as the UWC or the University, undertake to bound together a commitment to a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic South Africa, be drawn from a diverse cultural through this conduct, thank you very much. Let us also recite together the guiding principles. The following principles shall guide day-to-day conduct of student leadership at UWC, and these are together: democracy, non-racialism, non-sexism, collective leadership. The SRC insists on a high standard. Thank you very much. Please now sign your name and your portfolio onto this. Let's offer them a round of applause, everybody. Good. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I would like now to call upon, let's have order. Order in the House, please. I would now like to call upon Mr. Macintosh Kasembe to address the House as incoming SRC President.
Thank you very much, Professor Robert Balfour, for the oath taking, and I will take this opportunity to formally congratulate the new SRC members. You can now change your Instagram handles and have at SRC 2025-26. Now, colleagues, comrades, and distinguished guests here, today we witness a moment that will go down in the history books here in the United States with both conviction and compassion. As Martin Luther King Jr. says, the ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort, but where they stand in times of challenges and controversy. Today, we celebrate a leader who has stood already while you're sitting so that you don't do it here. You can take us in. We are already in. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the President of the UWC SRC for the 2025-2026 term, Macintosh Kasembe.
Amandla awethu viva mfundi 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 viva qina mfundi 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 qina. Thank you so much, Program Director, for that very generous introduction. Before I start, let me make a few acknowledgements as per protocol to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Robert John Balfour, to the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Development and Support, Professor Matete Madiba, to the Registrar, Dr. Lawton Mezra, to the Deputy Registrar, Dr. Ahmed Sheikh G, to our Student Governance Manager, Ms. Candice Seal, to the DVCs in absentia, esteemed guests, deans, the Director of Risk and Compliance that I see, Director of CSSS, Dean of Dentistry Faculty. I see all of you, but importantly, to each and every one of you that is present here, to each and every one of you that has mandated us to drive the aspirations of students into realities. Ngiyanibulisa na sanibonani. You know, in 1994, yes, Amandla awethu. It's important that I set the tone and the preface for the discussion and for my address here today. In 1994, Nelson Mandela stood before the world as the president of a first democratically elected South Africa. He said, and I quote, "I stand before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people." You see, that humility, in my opinion, was not weakness. It was strength. It was the very strength of conviction to lead not for power, but for purpose. And years later, President Thabo Mbeki reminded us, and I quote, that the time has come to act in the spirit of renewal, to build a South Africa that cares, a South Africa that listens, but importantly, a South Africa that serves. Today I stand before you with my collective as the entrusted servant of students, humbled by your renewed trust, yet very unshaken in our conviction that this second term must be one of transformation, decisiveness, and courage. And so with that being said, allow me the honor to introduce to you 14 other capable and committed student representative council members that you have elected and the specific portfolios that they will occupy for the rest of the term in office. Allow me then to begin by introducing to you the Secretary General of the Student Representative Council, Ms. Khanyisa Dos. Allow me to introduce to you the Treasurer General of the Student Representative Council, Mr. Akanya May. Allow me yet again the opportunity to introduce my right-hand man, the person that will ensure that the custodian of discipline is instilled within the SRC, the Deputy President of the SRC, Theo Mbolang. Every Secretary General needs their deputy. And allow me then to welcome and introduce to you the Deputy Secretary General of the SRC, Thabiso Dube. The custodian and the chairperson of all affiliated student structures in the University of the Western Cape, the first female student governance and services officer, Kwenga Likao. And with the great work that Ms. Mngeni has ensured as the Student Academic Affairs Officer, there's been a great succession in ensuring that that work is still intact, and I have no doubt that we will continue to open the doors of learning. Allow me then to introduce to you the Student Academic Affairs Officer, Orion Ndabambi. The Gender and Security Officer, Zachary Heinemann. Allow me to introduce to you our Chief Publicity Officer, the SRC Public Relations Officer, Ms. Oratilwe Maseremu. Now, I want to make a commitment. It is a risk, but I say it because I believe in her capabilities. If you thought that Kamani gave us one bash, you haven't seen two bashes. So, allow me to introduce to you our Projects and Campaigns Officer, the first female Projects and Campaigns Officer, Ms. Ayabona Nyalela. to radically shift the policies of this institution and ensure that we have a critical look at them and transform them so as to ensure that the realities of UWC students are championed. Allow me to introduce to you the Policy and Transformation Officer, Ms. Inati Kokela. Okay. This is why, program director, this is my least favorite thing to do, honestly, because you never really know how to get control of the audience. But nevertheless, allow me to introduce to you Umastandi General, the Accommodation Affairs Officer, Mr. Apile Mbongwa. Allow me Amandla Awethu. Allow me to introduce to you the capable and the committed, the dedicated and ever so consistent second-term sports officer, Mr. Luvwezo João Antonio. And at second last, but definitely not least, allow me to introduce to you someone who I solemnly believe will take forward the postgraduate journey and experience very forward. Athuthukisa ilizwe lama-Afrika, the postgraduate officer, Andiswa Beauty Boya. And last, but definitely not least, allow me to introduce to you the International Student Liaison Officer, Mr. Delight Farai. Now, with that being said, on behalf of the Student Representative Council, I address you on the following matters. You know, comrades, colleagues, students, and members of this great university, I stand before you today with a deep humility, a renewed conviction, and an unshaken determination as I accept the call to once again serve as your president of the Student Representative Council with my 14 very capable and competent SRC members. This is not merely a continuation of leadership. No, it's not. It is the renewal of a mandate. It is the reaffirmation of trust and the reawakening of a vision. And that vision, simply said, it's to ensure that it serves students with dignity, with fairness, and with purpose. Today's inauguration is not a celebration of individuals, but a solemn recommitment to the struggle for a university that reflects the democratic, the decolonial, and developmental ideas that gave birth to this institution. You know, our first term as an SRC deployed by the South African Students' Congress was one grounded in engagement. Engagement that was sometimes very patient, sometimes very painful, but always purposeful. We learned that governance in this institution is not a fair terrain. We learned that officials and management of the institution are far from our friends. And we learned that sometimes certain departments, which should have been an ally to student leadership, often made the work of the SRC unnecessarily difficult. Yet through those challenges, we proved very resilient. We governed through resistance. We delivered not through convenience, hear me out, but through persistence. We secured additional bed spaces for students. We ensured allowances are paid consistently and on time. We reinstated the Ikamvalethu Fund. We launched the End Period Poverty Campaign. And we fought for a 24-hour library access and for the rights of students who were long neglected. But let me be honest and very transparent about a matter that cannot be ignored. At the start of the academic year, we once again saw students without accommodation, sleeping in foyers and at the student center. A sight that should break the heart of any leader who claims to serve students. We were criticized. Some said we would fail. Some said that this SRC would flop. But we did not. We acted quicker, more decisively, and more effectively than in any other year. Through coordination, communication, and the sheer persistence, we placed more students in accommodation faster so as to ensure that by the second day of the academic project, it continues. But I stand here today, hear me out, and if you cannot hear my words, hear my heart at least. I stand here today not to claim that victory, because the truth is it was not enough. I find no pleasure in knowing that even a single student had to sleep at the student center while waiting for a bed. That is not victory, that is unfinished work. And that's why, as part of our commitment, we will ensure that there's a strategy that will be established, tasked with designing a proactive strategy to ensure that as soon as 2026 begins, no student should be subjected to sleeping outside, no student should be stranded, and the academic year must begin in time. We will be critical in our planning, disciplined in our coordination, and very rapid in our response. Because leadership is not just about solving problems, it is about preventing problems. That first term was our test. The second term, comrades, it's our response. If our first term was about learning the terrain, our second will be about redefining it. If the last one was about engagement, this one is about decisiveness. If before we sought dialogue, now we're not, we're demanding accountability. This term must be defined by uttermost fearlessness. A term of implementation, not conversations. We are done with long meetings that yield no results, with reports that lack action, and with committees that talk more than they deliver. This is the term where we implement more than we speak, where plans translate into policies and policies into the lived realities of students. This term must be about penetrating the relationships we have built, using them not for symbolic collaboration, but for concrete outcomes. We will call out those who occupy offices and spaces of power, yet show no genuine intention to advance the interests of students. We will not be shy, we will not whisper, and believe me, this term we will not bend. We are going to assert ourselves as the vanguard of student interests, the moral and the political center of this institution. And if that means we need to go toe-to-toe with liberal tendencies that seek to pacify student voices and dilute our activism, then so be it. We will engage with intellect, with courage, and with conviction. If the previous term was about creating a ground for good governance, this one is about building a responsive, a militant, and a hands-on SRC that defends before it negotiates, that protects before it is even asked, and that serves before it is even reminded. We will be the watchdogs of accountability, calling out institutional inconsistencies and exposing every act of negligence that compromises the well-being of students. We will mobilize when necessary, we will engage when it is strategic to do so, and we will resist when we are pushed aside. You see, the character of this SRC will be fundamentally different. It will not be passive, nor even polite. It will be sharp, active, assertive, and revolutionary in discipline and in character. It will amplify and reflect the collective voice of our formations and become the beacon of light within this university. A light that will illuminate just injustice, expose inequality, and reignite the culture of transformative student activism. You see, this term will not be sidestepped, silenced, or reduced to ceremonial participants in governance. We're here to govern, not to be governed. And so, our vision for this SRC is centered mainly around 5 ideas, which I'll not explain, but 1, we'll focus on safety, accommodation, and dignity. 2, we'll focus on financial freedom and sustainable student funding. 3, we'll focus on academic access and transformation. 4, we'll focus on student well-being, health, and safety. And 5, which is one that I want to explain, in governance and accountability. You see, governance, in my opinion, must no longer be symbolic. It must be substantive. This term, the SRC will institutionalize accountability mechanisms through quarterly progress reports from each portfolio that will be tabled before the student assembly and published to the student body, because we are an SRC that is accountable to its students. We'll implement a performance-based leadership model, ensuring that every SRC member delivers or they depart. And by 2026, and Prof, I think this particularly is a conversation that will be hard-hitting on this term. We must have secured a sustainable funding model for all student sub-councils, ensuring that representation is matched with resources. Let me be unequivocally clear for a moment. It is fundamentally and institutionally dishonest to implement a student governance framework without a corresponding funding model. Councils cannot be expected to lead, to serve, or to transform when they are starved of the very resources that enable their function and existence. It is unfair, it is unsustainable, and unacceptable to demand accountability without a certain level of empowerment. So this term will not tolerate a governance system that funds elections but not operations, that celebrates democracy at the ballot box but suffocates it in practice. There is no way, and I say this in the most sincerest manner, there is no way we can begin any form of student governance without funding being made available. Anything less is symbolic participation. And we refuse to be participants in our own marginalization. So we'll be hard, Prof. We'll be direct, and we'll be very relentless on this matter to SDS. We'll not operate in silos. We will not be pacified by promises, and we will not be distracted by procedural delays. Student governance must be fully funded, functional, and fair. If not, it is not governance at all. Because this term, the message is simple and it is clear. If it is not funded, it is not functional. And if it is not functional, it is not governance. So students of UWC, as we embark on this second term, there are 3 things we must remind ourselves constantly. Firstly is that we serve students of this university, not the executive, not the management, not titles. Our allegiance and our loyalty is to the students of this university. Second, power means responsibility. We must be disciplined in as much as I have been hard, strong in my address today, but we must be disciplined, strategic, and unrelenting in our pursuit for transformation. Not for ourselves, but SRC elects for those that will come after us. And lastly, activism without accountability is chaos. But governance without conviction is betrayal. So what I mean by this is that we must remain grounded in both. That means we're very radical in our purpose, but very disciplined in our execution. So as I close, I want to say this clearly. This SRC, once again, will not be remembered for being polite. It will be remembered for being very effective. So we will be hard in the boardroom and very principled in our streets. We will engage where it is possible, and we'll also confront where it is necessary. We will lead with the clarity that no official of the university are our allies or friends, but we will also lead with the discipline that our struggle must always be strategic, not emotional. We have learned, we have grown, and now we are ready to govern and govern very well. You know, Professor Patrice Lumumba, who I consider to be one of the best Pan-Africanists of our time, once said that, you see, Africa will only rise when her sons and daughters begin to believe in their own abilities, when they no longer wait to be validated by others, and when they begin to define themselves on their own terms. When I think of the University of the Western Cape, I think of a place where this belief is born, where conviction has been tested, where the courage has been refined, and where every student writes their story not in comfort but in defiance of the odds. So we are not the children of convenience, we're the children of that conviction. We were never meant to inherit a perfect institution, but to build one through struggle, through dialogue and persistence. And if history is to judge us, may it never judge us by saying that we folded when the time demanded us to stand tall. Our story, comrades, colleagues, and fellow students, is like that of a young gardener who planted seeds in the hard soil of neglect. Each and every day, the sun scorched the gardener and the rain delayed, but he kept on watering. And when the flowers finally bloomed, the world forgot the days when there was only dust. You see, that gardener is you. The student who persists through hunger, broken systems, through being defunded, through nights of study and days of uncertainty, you are the gardener of your own future. And so as we inaugurate this new Student Representative Council, let us remember that leadership is not an office. It's a calling. It is not applause. It is accountability. It is about being first. It is not about being first. It is about ensuring that no one and no student is left behind. So let this be our charge, to lead with courage when it is very unpopular, to speak truth when silence becomes very much safer, and to serve with humility when power tempts the ego. So the time for waiting, I think, is over. The time for action is now. May we rise not because it is easy, but because it is right. For indeed, I think that the University of the Western Cape has never been a place where dreams come to rest. It has always been a place where they are awakened. And once again, do not congratulate us now. Congratulate us when the work of the SRC has been done and there's something that we can hold ourselves to account. May God bless the University of the Intellectual Left and her people. I thank you. Amandla.
Thank you very much, President McIntosh Dama Kasembe, for your words of strength and the vision that you're giving. Can the House please be in order? We are nearing the finish soon. And you remind me, in the words of Che Guevara, he says, the revolution is not an apple that falls when it is ripe. You have to make it fall. And indeed, like the revolution, leadership demands boldness, sacrifice, and relentless hope. And may your continued service as you go into this SRC reflect exactly that. In this moment, I would like us to welcome to the podium for his maiden address at an SRC inauguration here at UWC, our Rector and Vice Chancellor, Professor Robert Balfour, to deliver his keynote address. Professor Balfour.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Program Director, and good afternoon to our colleagues, to students, to members of the executive gathered, to parents in the room, to all the families and friends who have gathered here to support our Student Representative Council. The inauguration is indeed one of the most meaningful elements of the academic year, and I'm so very, very pleased, as I said, that we could be together today to celebrate the deeper purpose that is part of student leadership. Mr. Kasembe, it's quite difficult to follow you, I have to say, in terms of making an address, so I'm going to keep this crisp and to the point. I do want to express my sincere appreciation to Mr. McIntosh Kasembe as the outgoing SRC President and the incoming SRC President, and to all the members of the outgoing SRC, thank you so much for the service to the university. And to the members of the incoming SRC, thank you in advance to you for the service to come. Leadership is so much about service. And in fact, its most effective forms are not about power. Leadership is grounded in engagement. And as our student leadership have attested to this afternoon in Mr. Kasembe's address, accountability is key to that service. Strengthening partnership between students and the university is indeed a marker of this administration's commitment. And indeed, the student concerns about safety and security, about accommodation, about funding models for higher education are also our commitments as management and leadership. These are our joint concerns, and they are best addressed together. Your leadership of the student body of UWC to our SRC will be critical in how we respond on a national level as a collective to issues that are not individual to this institution, but that are sectoral. How we address the need for an education provision in our country that is not only responsive, but is truly accessible. A funding model that indeed can be open rather than narrowed. The role and purpose of the SRC is indeed, as Mr. Kasembe noted, integral to our governance. It serves as a bridge between the university and the student body, and I've learned that through my own experience this year, in which we relied heavily on students in terms of not only welcoming new students to the institution, but also dealing with the very complex issues of accommodation provision, of student wellness and well-being, in times often that seemed where the solutions were not quickly enough to hand and had to be arrived at around the table. They were not ready in a recipe book to be taken off a shelf. They had to be made. The solutions had to be made together. As management, we remain committed to purposeful and intentional student participation through all the structures that govern the institution, from council through to Senate, and all the representation that ensures that people in our community of UWC have access to a free and fair voice. We are committed to being an open learning institution, and that openness is displayed in the representation of our student body this afternoon, and we acknowledge that with gratitude. It should be a space, UWC, where students learn to negotiate, to advocate, build consensus, and I think most importantly, to make change happen. Effective leadership must often mean listening before acting. It must often mean engagement before difference, and sometimes it must mean acting in a collective interest together. So it is about, in my view, fundamentally service, not only to ourselves as young people, as academics, as members of our community in and around UWC. It's also about service in our democracy at a time, I have to say, globally, when that democracy and how we come to define it seems rather less certain than what it was. From its early years, UWC has stood for access, and I'm deeply appreciative that you've noted in the address the importance of transformation as linked to opportunity. And the SRC has historically played a key role in carrying that vision forward. It is a vision that is bigger than any of us, bigger than any Vice-Chancellor, bigger than any of us who occupy the room at this time. It is a vision that strengthens us over time and moves from one generation to the other. We are all committed, I think, to creating a better campus for all who come after us, as well as for those of us in the here and the now. I have often spoken about the importance of activism in relation to community work. I think it's what makes UWC quite a special place in our sector, that we recognize that activism needs to take the form of impact that changes lives in the institution and also beyond it. So thank you also for alluding to that important part of our history. It is indeed a place, our institution, our place of belonging, our UWC, our way where we thrive together in as much as we be together, in as much as we might differ from each other, in as much as we come together for what UWC represents. Please lead with integrity. Please use your time in office to strengthen and build the institution through trust. The university, together with the Division of Student Development and Support, is committed to working with the SRC. Ours is not a perfect situation, and this is far from an ideal time in our economy, in our state, on our globe. But it is such an urgent time. This is an urgent time for considered action that makes an impact for the better for our people. As you begin this journey this afternoon, and for some of you on the team, it is a re-beginning and a continuation of a beginning, may your leadership last beyond the temporary, last long after the term has ended, and that what you have learned in the year that has passed and also in the year that to come will grow future generations who will understand what leadership means in relation to service. I encourage you to stand together as part of UWC's very proud tradition of transformation and leadership through service. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Japan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Robert Balfour, for that heartwarming and heartfelt address to the SRC, reminding us that, yes, leadership ends with a title, but it does not end with influence. You can still be influential even post the title that you occupied. In this moment, we are nearing the end, and I'm going to call the second last person that is going to be addressing here with a vote of thanks, who is the acting student governance manager, Mrs. Candace Seal, to deliver a vote of thanks, closing off the formal part of the proceedings. Mrs. Seal.
All right. Greetings, everyone. My name is Candace Seal, as they announced, the acting manager who gets to see a second term of the SRC. I want to greet the entire house. I want to acknowledge the DVC, the VC, the executives, the deans, all of you. I'm aware that there are parents. I think I spoke to a set of parents over there. Some parents, can you just acknowledge the parents in the house as well? Program director, where are you? Where's the program director? Oh, there you are. You can't be sitting there. So on behalf of the Division of Student Development and Support, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to each and every person who took their time out to come to this momentous occasion. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to those who have contributed to the success of today's SRC Inauguration Ceremony 2025-2026. Before I mention everyone else I want to thank, I think it's important to acknowledge the outgoing SRC members who have given me the time of my life. Thank you very much, outgoing SRC. Can we please just show our appreciation with a round of applause? So yeah, it did feel like Hollywood as an acting manager with the SRC this year. But let me continue with the thanks. To our program director, Mr. Tsepang, forgive me if I get the pronunciation wrong, Masao, thank you for setting the tone today. I think your energy, your vibe is clocking, ne? So, thank you for guiding the proceedings with poise and professionalism. As SDS, we appreciate that. To our Rector and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Robert Balfour, we thank you for your powerful address and always speaking to our hearts and not just to our physical, intellectual minds, but that your messages always connect with us. Your presence affirms the institution's ongoing commitment to ethical leadership and accountability. Our gratitude extends to, I call her the mother of SDS, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Student Development and Support, Professor Matete Madiba, for your continued leadership and for reminding us of the value of the student voice and engagement in shaping a vibrant university community. Thank you. The SRC Collective, for those who have come in, I wish to congratulate you on this new chapter. I'm very excited to work with you again, incoming, outgoing President. And I want to congratulate you, President. And I trust that this is going to be an even better term. To Mr. Amani, the outgoing SRC Deputy President General, thank you for your address, and the outgoing SRC team, I've already thanked you. And then, of course, our soloist, who further made this day special, Liema Makalima. Thank you for lifting our spirits and for setting the tone of the unity and pride with your performance of the national anthem. We are grateful. To our executive management, staff, colleagues, and students who have attended, your presence reaffirms that we, indeed, a community committed to collective growth and leadership. I don't see Prof. Singh here, but in his absence, I wish to acknowledge Prof. Singh and his team for the endless support, supporting us after hours, and for understanding our immediate needs. Plain Productions, over there in the back, that's doing the live streaming for us. And then AVS, I'd also like to acknowledge our colleagues that have helped us pull this off. I also need to acknowledge our father, our protector, Mr. Bentley Jafter, and his team for always stepping in, even without request. You are always ready to support us, and we notice and acknowledge that. I would also like to take a moment for a more personal reflection. Despite the challenges, the endless criticisms that SDS receives, so many complexities, so many constraints, and only a handful of capacity. I would like the student governance team who made this happen today to show your faces, and so the House can appreciate all the work that you have put in for us. Mrs. Lippert, Karabo, and Isiwe, are you here? Just show your faces. That's right. We were 4 people. And Chipper in the back is our student assistant over there. It's been a challenging journey from elections through to inauguration. But here we are, and I'm forever grateful that you are here. Without my team, who had 3 to 4 days to plan an inauguration, I think you are outstanding. Everybody might not understand the constraints behind the scenes, but they do. And I want to say to them that the university acknowledges all of that. So I guess the criticism comes with the nature of the job. So let us continue. Inclusivity, service, and ethical leadership. That is what we need. May the 2025-2026 SRC lead with courage and wisdom, and may today mark the beginning of another meaningful chapter in student leadership at UWC. And I want to close off, I have a favorite poem that was read at the inauguration of Nelson Mandela. And he read at that inauguration, and I'm just going to quote the last couple of lines. And the poem was written by Marianne Williamson. And it goes something like, I could get it wrong, I might be paraphrasing, but when we let our own light shine, we allow others, or we give permission for others to shine their lights too. And so as the SRC starting this journey, it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it, and empowering and bringing that change that Mahatma Gandhi talks about, being that change that you want to see. And so once again, entire house, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Seal, for your words of appreciation and your commitment towards the students of this university. I think it's worth noting that you need to congratulate me. I'm a Fly Safari pilot. We started 20 minutes late, but you are going to finish right on time. Now, as we close here, I want to say, as we bring this historic day to a close, I wish to leave a reflection particularly to the SRC. Leadership is going to stretch you. You are going to face challenges, but also you must embrace the fact that the truest lessons about yourself and the people that you lead, you'll be learning it in this term that you are in. And if you know me, I cannot not do this. The book of Proverbs chapter 11 verse 14 says, "Where there is no guidance, people fall. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety." Lead together, listen often, and never forget that wisdom is not found in pride, but is in the people that you're leading. To our cleaners, our ground staff, the SDS office, we thank you. We thank you for your everlasting support that you give to the SRC and the student populace. To our Vice Chancellor and management in particular, we thank you for your faith in the capacity of student leadership. And to every student that is here, your SRC is your voice, your hope, and your representation, and you ought to hold them accountable. I would like now to give the logistics of how we'll be moving. I'm not sure where those people are going. But the logistics is that first we let out the SRC and senior management for photo taking outside. Then we now release the parents, and then the rest of us can join. Afterwards, the SRC, the senior management, will be joining us in the rector's dining hall for some refreshments. While the students, your refreshments, you can just look where Ms. Tracy Lippert is, and then you shall know where to go. And on behalf of the Student Development and Support Division and the Office of Student Governance, thank you for joining us for this profound celebration of leadership, unity, and service. My name is Tsepam Masiu, and it has been a great honor to host you tonight. Good luck.